he's had to make do with what he's got. He's got an army that is shrinking. It's shrunk by 10,000 troops over the last few years. And he made clear that there was more to do to make sure that the army that he was given is more prepared for a future conflict of that scale.
Speaking at a special D-Day event in Portsmouth today, General Sanders has said that conflict on the scale of World War II is possible again, and Britain is not prepared. General Sir Patrick Sanders is the outgoing head of the army. He said, although it seems like ancient history, to the young, the only way to prevent a repeat of the past is to have a credible, strong armed forces. Larissa Brown is defence editor. She has this story for us. Larissa, good evening.
Good evening. Hi.
You've been speaking to General Sir Patrick Sanders, of course. Now, he's not shy with his words. We should point that out. But he did want to urge, he did want to send out a clear message today to you.
Yes. As you say, he is quite well known for his frankness, and I think for that reason, the MOD did want to try and keep him away from speaking to me. But I did manage to grab him. And I did ask him a couple of questions, and one of those was, obviously referencing D-Day and whether we could face something similar to, the scale of the Second World War again in the future, and to which he responded, yes, basically. He said that, it felt like ancient history to young people, the Second World War. However, warfare on that scale could happen again. But he said to deter such events, he said that we need to have a credible and strong armed forces. He did infer that actually, he's had to make do with what he's got. He's got an army that is shrinking. It's shrunk by 10,000 troops over the last few years. And he made clear that there was more to do to make sure that the army that he was given is more prepared for a future conflict of that scale. So quite controversial comments. I think that people in the MOD will be listening to what he said, and they'll probably be a bit annoyed by the fact he's been so candid with us.
Yeah, I mean, look, his candidness is appreciated. I mean, who can he affect by saying things like this? Is it just the fact that he is the outgoing head of the army, or will these words have significance? Will these words produce? Can they produce? Is there any money there to be able to produce any other outcome than we have at the moment, which is the government's shrinking the army for the first time? The size of the army has dipped below the target figure. We know that there are huge, issues with defence budget at the moment. How will this land? Will it do anything, I suppose, is what I'm asking here.
Yeah, well, obviously, we're during it's an election period at the moment. The Tories and Labour have both shied away.
Oh, we've lost Larissa's line there. We'll just see if we can grab her back, unless she's cut herself off. Larissa Brown, defence editor, just been speaking about the comments of the outgoing head of the army. And that is General Sir Patrick Sanders. And he's issued a warning about how, although, as we talk about D-Day, how World War II seems like ancient history to the young, we could be close to a repeat of the past, and that we need credible, strong armed forces for that. Sorry, Larissa.
Hello.
Carry on. So you talked about us being in an election period. We've been hearing, haven't we, from Labour and the Conservatives on defence. But this comment from General Sir Patrick Sanders will be aimed at those who hold the budget string, who hold the purse strings.
Yeah, so quite key here is what happens to the army in future. Do the Tories or Labour, whoever gets in, do they decide to actually reverse plans to shrink the army and actually increase the size of the army? At the moment, both the Conservatives have avoided that issue. They're saying that they've not got any plans to increase the size of the army, and Labour are saying that they'd carry out a defence review if they got in, which would look at.
We've clearly got a bit of a patchy line there with Larissa, so I think we will leave it there. Larissa Brown is defence editor for The Times, and I believe that story has just gone up. So if you want to read more about the comments of General Sir Patrick Sanders, we hear that they are likely to infuriate Admiral Sir Tony Radakin, the head of the armed forces. He's tried to play down the threat of Britain, the threat facing Britain, by saying that Russia's not seeking a direct war with NATO, but clearly General Sir Patrick Sanders feeling that he needs to reiterate his message, get that message across once more.
Well, we've decided to freeze it for service family accommodation.
Single soldier sailors aviators who live in single living accommodation, we've raised their rents only.
We want that 5% plus the £1,000 means. The 5% plus the 1,000 for travel.